Hello everybody, I'm Tom. I'm one of the sports therapy team at Kinetic. I'm also one of the muscle activation therapists. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Zone 3 upper body activations, self-activation techniques, protocol that you can use at home to make sure everything stays activated and to build on the work that you've done with your sports therapist in your sessions at Kinetic already. Now, it's important to say at this point you would only use your Zone 3 self-activation routine once you've used Zone 1 and Zone 2. So, before we start, make sure you've done a little bit of belly breathing, make sure you've done your Zone 1 activations and any Zone 2 activations that your sports therapist might have asked you to do. To start with, we're going to have a look at the lats and piriformis activation points. They share the same activation point. There's a couple of ways of doing this, but for those of you with limited anatomical knowledge, we're just going to try and cover all bases by covering the general area. So I want you to take the heel of your hand on both sides. You can do both sides at the same time. I'm just going to show you on one side. If you take the heel of your hand and you find the bottom few ribs on the side of your rib cage there, and all I want you to do is just go round in circles like that and just work your way gradually forwards. You should spend around 10-15 seconds on each spot and then move. And you're just working your way around. There will be a couple of tender points. If you find a tender point, stick on it for a little bit longer than you would the rest and just keep moving your way back round to the front and then back round to the back again. The anatomical way of finding it, you find your thumb, you find the bottom rib, you go a couple of ribs up and then it's just between the rib space in there, right on the intercostal muscles. And again, if you can find that point, you would do that for around 20 to 30 seconds just to make sure you activate properly. Once you've done that side, you do this side, or you could do both at the same time. And then once we've done that, we're going to work up into SCM and rotator cuff activation. So the SCM activation, if you find front of your shoulder and you just come inwards towards the middle of your chest, don't go up your clavicle, come inwards towards the middle of your chest, and there'll be a really tender spot in there. You just stick 2 fingers on it or your thumb, whichever you prefer, work your way around in small circles, 20 to 30 seconds. It is quite an uncomfortable one. It's easier to get to with obviously your opposite arm as well. And once we've done that, rotator cuff, a really good one to do is to take your arm out to the side, get a ball. I don't have a ball, so I'm just going to use my thumb. And all you'd do is you'd roll that ball from your shoulder across right underneath the inferior aspect of your clavicle, come across and you'll find a really, really sore point. That sore point is the activation point for your rotator cuff. So you can either keep your arm there and keep working it, but if you're comfortable enough that you've found the right spot, just drop your arm down and work into there as well. Okay, so from there then we're going to work into supraspinatus. Now supraspinatus is in the same sort of region, so you can go from lats straight to SCM and rotator cuff and then down into supraspinatus. Supraspinatus, you find your clavicle and where it meets your shoulder, and you're basically just going to work in a line down towards your armpit. So you're going to start over here and then work your way down. Again, you can take your arm out to the side, you can drop it down by side, whichever's easier for you. And like I say, you just work down towards that armpit. And again, it's not going to be wholly comfortable, but it shouldn't be unbearably painful at the same time. And once we've done the shoulders and the back muscles, what we're now going to work up into is the jaw and temporalis. So for the jaw, all we want you to do is to find your temporomandibular joint, which is the really, really bony bit, or your top of your cheekbone where it meets your jaw. And all we're going to do is just drop underneath that temporomandibular joint, so you should be able to see it right in front of my ear. And all you're going to do is use one finger, apply a little bit of pressure, round in really small circles for 20 to 30 seconds. And all we're doing here is working into that masseter muscle on the outside of your jaw. That masseter muscle shares some fibres with your temporalis, which is just above and working up into your skull. So once we've done that for 20 to 30 seconds, we're then going to move up above the cheekbone and nice and steady. Small circles again, working up into that temporalis. Come forwards, go backwards, up and down. Just make sure you cover the whole area. And again, for each point you spend maybe 10-15 seconds just working into it. So all in all, that process has taken, or would take normally, maybe 3 or 4 minutes to complete if you're on the ball and you know what you're doing. Obviously, the more you practice this, the better you'll get at it, so the quicker it'll start to be. But like I said, make sure you've done your diaphragmatic breathing at least before you do this. If you've got the time, do zone 1 and zone 2 activations as well, and then work into zone 3 activations using the demonstrations I've just given you. If you have any questions or any problems, then don't hesitate to contact us at Kinetic. Any of our sports therapy team will be able to help you because we're all activation therapists as well. So we'll all be able to help you and get you back on track.